It's Wednesday, March 23rd, coming up live on The View. After this morning's shocking loss, Barbara's looking back at her unforgettable interviews with the legendary Liz Taylor. Then, they're getting in step with the hottest topics, from whether Dancing with the Stars should let Chris Brown perform to the punishment a sports superstar got after being caught with an underage prostitute. Plus, Donald Trump is revealing how serious he really is about his run for the White House, exposing all the boardroom brawling and bawling on The Celebrity Apprentice, and how it felt to get brutally roasted in front of his wife and daughter. Then, style expert Clinton Kelly has your fashion forecast for spring when he unveils the hottest trends you'll want to be in this season. And it's the miracle menu you've been waiting for when the ladies lunch with celebrity chef Rocco DiSpirito, who's showing them how to lose 10 pounds in 2 weeks, eating fried chicken, fettuccine Alfredo, and chocolate. All that, hot topics, and more, coming up live on The View.
Welcome to The View. We have to start with some rather sad news that has hit us quite hard this morning. And I don't know whether you all are aware of it, but Elizabeth Taylor passed away today at age 79.
She was gorgeous.
She was stunning. She was stunningly gorgeous. Yeah. And you know, the reason, for me anyway, I know you knew her as well, Barbara, but she was a big part of my life. You know, it was because of her that I learned about collecting things. Like she said to me, you know, careers go like this. This is day one when we met. She said careers go up and down, so you need to get them when you work for a studio to get you a present. Oh. I was like, you know what? You're Elizabeth Taylor. That works for you. And she said, no, I know Sandy, who was my manager. She said, I'll help you work this out. She said, because you must always know that when the career is here, you can look around and see the things that you got, that your agent didn't commission, that your manager didn't commission, that just is yours. So you can see your career all over. I mean, she really mentored me. Yeah,
well, she did. Yeah. She did get the studio to give her everything.
She did.
If you go to her house, she had wonderful paintings and really very valuable paintings. And jewelry like nobody else had. And she, at one point, we did a whole interview with her about the jewelry. She had the biggest diamond that Richard Burton gave her. But her life was so much more than that. I mean, she really, I think, is like the last of the movie stars. She said that there had never been a time in her life when she wasn't famous. Yeah. She was either famous for her films, she was famous for her divorces, for her men, for the jewelry, for everything. And she really lived a life. She had 4 children, 10 grandchildren, 4 great-grandchildren, 7 ex-husbands, 8 in all, but yeah, because she believed in marrying them. Those days you didn't live together. Richard Burton, the love of her life, she married him twice. And I don't know, I think probably more interviews with her at different times of her life than anyone else. I was just so fortunate. And I loved her because, as you know, Whoopi, she was very salty. Oh, she had that gorgeous face, but, I mean, the words came out of that mouth.
That's the other reason we got along.
Right. I can imagine. We have... you know, I just wonder, you're younger. Do you remember that well?
I do, you know, but certainly not in the way that you do. But I think, you know, what's stuck out to me over the years was her commitment even to giving back. You know, she started the American Foundation for AIDS Research, and I think it was close to $325 million were donated on her behalf, you know, from her
which she raised,
to keep this foundation going for AIDS research. And I think that contribution has left a mark on our world that will forever give back. It is.
I know for Elizabeth Taylor, we do a reading called Celebrity Autobiography.
Oh, yes.
And they read from Elizabeth Taylor's biography, autobiography, amongst others. And I was asked to do Elizabeth, you know, read Elizabeth Taylor's part. And I think we all have these memories of how we would be Elizabeth Taylor. And it was always such an honor to, you know, try to read and get her character in me. So just watching her, she was so stunningly beautiful, and wish that I could have had.
She started at the age because of her friend Rock Hudson. Yeah.
Rock Hudson was her friend. I mean, I grew up with Elizabeth Taylor. Of course, I'm old enough to remember all her movies and everything.
By the way, she was a very good actress. She won 2 Academy Awards, Butterfield 8 and Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, which was probably her most challenging role, which she did with Richard Burton, whom she loved.
Were they together when she did Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf?
I think so.
They would, I think so. They, they were together, then they separated, then they came back again.
She was Barbara, a glamorous woman who also was very, very relatable. I mean, that was interesting about her.
Because of all the traumas in her life.
Women loved her. She was sick a lot. She had a lot of illnesses.
Let me tell you a little bit about one of the reasons she was sick is that when she was very young, they worked her to death when she was like 11, 12 years old. And the only way, I've known people like this, the only way you can get out of it is by being sick. And then she was really sick. She had a tracheotomy. She had a brain tumor. She died of heart congestion. We thought she was going to make it, her friends and people we were in touch with. Let me just show you a little bit. This is from 1987, in which she talks about the man she loved above all others. Mike Todd she loved. That was a brief marriage. But the main one was Richard Burton.
I want to be free of you, of wanting you. Being afraid.
It's easy.
In the life of Richard Burton, so much has been written about it, talked about it, that I couldn't possibly even start to ask you about it, except to ask what your memories are now.
They're wonderful memories. They're warm memories. And they're my memories.
Yeah. The romance, she was banished from the Catholic Church.
Oh, yeah.
People, this was, I mean, because he was married and she was married. And they got together in Cleopatra and flames. And then he drank too much.
This was the first time that we read about couples, Brad and Angelina, this one and that one. These guys, these young people that have that, got nothing on these guys.
All over the world.
Let me
show you 2 others, if I may, before our time runs out. She got married, and she was getting a little older, and she was going to make the nice, safe marriage. And she married a Virginian, very nice man whom I knew very well, named John Warner. She helped to make him a senator, and he was a wonderful senator. But she was not happy, and she got very fat. This was from 1997, and then after that, what she said when she was then making a film, what she said about the way she felt. We can all relate to this.
I wish she'd take better care of herself, and I mean that quite sincerely, and I've told her many times I want her to last a long, long time.
I can't help it that I fall off your horse.
Well, I
and
know,
stuff
but
like that.
you ought to eat a few more vegetables and a little more orange juice for breakfast. And...
She does eat more vegetables, potatoes. Are you worried about putting on weight?
No.
Oh, yeah.
Does it matter to you?
No, it doesn't, because I'm so happy, and I enjoy eating. I like to cook, and I enjoy eating, and
you wouldn't care if you got fat?
I am fat.
Now?
God, yeah.
I didn't want
to say
I can
hardly get into any of my clothes.
You don't care?
Not really. I hated it, and I hated all the fat jokes. I probably laughed as loud or louder than anyone. But they hurt. They hurt me a lot. And there was a kind of defiance that I think made me get even fatter. Like it's my business. It's my body.
Yeah, she really... Remember, Joan Rivers used to do a lot of jokes.
And Belushi. Remember, John used to do her as well.
John Belushi did a nasty, mean thing on Saturday Night Live. Eating chicken, remember?
She stayed friendly with Senator Warner. They were good friends, but it wasn't who she was.
But you can see the man in the picture saying, well, you eat more vegetables, like he didn't want her to be fat.
He didn't like it. And she's saying, oh, I'm fine, I'm fine.
Clearly, she did not care.
She did. No, I'm just saying she cared.
That John wanted her to do this.
Let me show you the last clip, which is, to me, the saddest. This is from 1999, but it is Elizabeth Taylor at her warmest, her funniest. Take a look. Have you ever thought of what you wanted on your tombstone?
Here lies Liz. She lived.
No, I don't like Liz. I hate that name.
Well?
Here lies Elizabeth. She hated being called Liz. But she lived.
She was quite funny. You know, when she was talking about the AIDS crisis at one point, I was reading in the research, she said George Bush, who was president at the time, doesn't care about AIDS. He can't even spell AIDS, probably. She was funny. She was very funny and very pointed.
She had a I got to tell you, she had a sense of humor that was so bawdy. Even I was like, really? You just said that came out of your mouth?
Because it's Elizabeth Taylor.
And she was, I mean, she was just a magnificent woman. She was a great broad and a good friend, and she sent things and good times and bad times. She was just
I just want to say one more word to the family, because we forget we didn't hear that much about it. How much she loved her family. She was very devoted to those children and the grandchildren, and to Tim Mandelson, who took care of her and was her sort of, I don't know, chief of staff or whatever, who was with her until the end. So from all of us, and from, I think, millions of people who remember and loved her as a great actress and a great personality.
It's kind of strange to be in the world without her, to tell you the truth.
Our condolences and our love to her.
Yeah. So, we can't really say very much more. Barbara put it so beautifully. So what I will say is we're going to go and come back, and when we do, we have even more hot topics.
All right.
Now, Chris Brown has been seen all over the headlines since yesterday's incident at Good Morning America. Now, TMZ reports ABC isn't pressing charges, but claims execs want to cancel his performance on next week Dancing with the Stars. There's also a writing campaign to pull him from the show, but as of now, he's still scheduled to perform. And the question, I guess, is why should he not perform?
We should just tell, in case anybody is not aware of it, what he did, which was that he performed on Good Morning America yesterday, that Robin Roberts asked him about whether he had gotten over and resumed his life after being...
if he and Rihanna had seen each other.
If he and Rihanna had seen each other. Not a very serious, no, I mean, not a very difficult question. Evidently bothered him more than we thought. Went backstage and threw a...
So we don't know. We don't know who broke the window.
Somebody threw a chair. In
somebody broke a window at GMA.
Somebody who was angrier than him.
Yes, somebody and took his shirt off and
ran out. Could have been a girlfriend. Could have been anybody. We don't know. That's the.
Supposedly, Barbara, he knew the question was coming.
But
they said they go through questions. ABC is not pressing charges.
Why not?
Robin.
He broke a window.
Well,
we don't know. We don't know that it was him.
But you can't just say it was him.
It's up to them.
What happened? What would have happened if somebody was walking under that window and then
it would have been different. If somebody, but the thing about it,
however, not only that, Robin Roberts and the program has invited him back. Would like to have him come back. Would love to have another chat with him. So it looks as if they're trying to say...
So now they can ask about Rihanna and the broken window. You're really going to get mad.
He's like an abused wife who asked the husband back into the house.
But you know, the thing about it is he did, I mean, because he did what he was supposed to do on Good Morning America.
He threw it, took his shirt off,
but the question is, why shouldn't he perform?
Yeah, he didn't lose control on stage. He performed at Good Morning America. He didn't lose control. It was when he got off that stage. So, you know...
Look, people
what do you think he's going to go on there?
He's
never exhibited behavior where he would lose control on that stage.
He's either guilty of doing that or not, right? So if he's not and no one's pressing charges, we then in this country assume that he is not guilty of doing that and then he should be able to perform. Those things are in line.
Listen, I just saw a Roman Polanski movie the other night, The Ghostwriter. It's a very good movie. I'm not going to go see his movie because of what he did. I don't think one thing has to do with the other.
We argue about that all the time.
But fans of the show, it's hard to argue.
Camera, whether it's a politician or a performer, you know, there is the argument, well, is this an example to young people? But if young people don't know what it's all about, they should have a parent.
Well, speaking of examples, let me ask you this. After this woman's dog, Boogie, fell into the Hudson River, a New York City woman braved the freezing water and strong current, and she dove in after it and saved the dog from drowning. Now, would you guys go that far? Would you dive in to save your pet?
I would send my agent. I think that would be the appropriate.
And the dog would be dead, would you?
I think if this woman, I wonder if she had children or not, because when you don't have children, your pets are like your babies. And I think it was just like this reaction. Now before I had Jeffrey, because I had a Labrador, I probably would have. Because I have my son, I don't know how to swim.
Well, that
so
would be
I think I would think
so
twice.
So the dog would drown and you would drown in that.
Yeah, we both. Yeah, if in the Hudson River, we probably would drown.
That would be a stupid thing to do. Then you wouldn't jump in it. I wouldn't jump.
I had a lab jump into a pool to try to save me. I grew up with the lab, and I remember being in the pool. Yeah, our lab.
So yeah, that's in his DNA. Jump in, save humans.
Could I just say, as Joy knows, and Joy is going to
she'd
throw
jump
up.
in after Cha-Cha.
Cha-Cha, the world's most perfect dog, would
What? No picture?
She would never jump into the Hudson, Barbara.
And what is Cha-Cha reading?
Cha-Cha is always reading Barbara.
Cha-Cha would never jump into the Hudson River.
No,
right? She wouldn't.
But
she knows
furthermore,
her way around
just in
this.
case,
no,
but she may be watching. Cha-Cha, Mommy would jump in after you.
Barbara, tell us again how the dog said she loved you.
Yeah.
Tell us that story.
I once on the air said that Cha-Cha told me that she loved me.
We remember.
People made fun of me for 2 years, but a lot of people have dogs who say they love them, and I'm going to hear from them again.
Yes. And so, wow, who knew? Gee, you know what? We're going to go and come right back with Donald Trump because maybe he has a puppy story he can tell.
Donald Trump is a billionaire, a real estate mogul, and a television star. But does he really want to add President of the United States to his resume? A lot of people would like him to. Please, let's find out, and please welcome my friend, Donald Trump. We're so happy to have you. Whenever you're on with us, we're very happy.
Well, we love it.
Okay, so I'm going to take you at your word that you have not decided yet when you're going to run, but you're thinking about it, and you've expressed some of your views, which are controversial and in many ways, yeah, but
not to her.
Well, not to her. Okay, you're a Republican, so, but let's say that you do decide in the spring, right? And your ideas resonate so much. On the other hand, you know, we saw Newt Gingrich apologizing for his marriages and divorces. You've had 3 marriages, 2 sort of uncomfortable divorces. Do you think that
not really. They were very comfortable.
Well, we won't review all that. Do you think that the country, that would bother anybody?
I think the country is doing so badly, they want somebody that's going to help it. I think the country is never been in a position like it is right now. It's being ripped off by every nation, every intelligent nation in the world, whether it's China. They're taking our jobs, they're making all our product, and then they loan us back the money, we pay them interest.
That is
whether
crazy.
It's OPEC, which is, I mean, they're having a field day right now. How about the Arab League? They say, we want you to go in and attack Libya. These are the wealthiest countries in the world. Why aren't they paying us?
Okay,
Why?
So then they change their minds also.
But you didn't answer my question.
No, I did answer your question.
Well,
I really
you
think
it won't
people...
matter.
I think maybe 10 years ago it would have mattered, 5 years ago. The fact is, I think people want somebody now that's going to protect them and protect this country, because we're not going to be a great country for long if we keep going the way we're going right now.
If you...
When we have... Barbara... When we have France leading the charge, okay? France, this is our new leader. By the way, they led for about 2 hours. After that, nobody's seen them. I don't know if you know that or not.
Geographically, so they should.
Let me just ask a follow-up question to that.
Their lead is the point.
Let me just ask a follow-up question to that. Let's say you run. You've given a lot of thought for this. Who would you like as your vice president? Possibly Sarah Palin?
Well, I think it's far too early even to discuss that. I'm going to make a decision sometime prior to June. I'm thinking about it very strongly. I think I'd do a really good job. I think I'd protect this country like it's not being protected. You know, it's funny. So many of the things I say, now politicians are saying, hey, that's right. Why aren't they paying us? If you look at North Korea, South Korea, We're protecting South Korea. They're making a fortune. Let's call it hundreds of billions of dollars of profit on us. We have 25,000 soldiers over there protecting them. They don't pay us. Why are they paying us?
You'd be treating this like a business.
No, a business with heart.
Okay.
Believe me, there's a lot of heart. It's a business, but it's also a business with heart. We will destroy this country. It won't be a war. If the economics of this country keep going the way they're going, we're not going to have a country.
You're kind of a social liberal, Donald. You know, you're a social liberal. Could you actually get the base to vote for you in the primary?
Well, every poll is saying that I'm the one that does the best. They're doing polls.
They actually have you a higher approval rating than Mitt Romney, Tim Pawlenty, John Boehner.
Well,
but out of those, if you're thinking of competition within the party to get the nomination, really your biggest competition will be, should you get the nomination, President Obama.
Well, I was the only one. A CNN poll just came out, as you probably saw, and I was the only one that was essentially tied with Obama. Everyone was 10 and 15 points down. So, we'll see. I haven't made a decision. I'll be making a decision, and I will do a good job if I decide yes and if I win.
Okay. I just was wondering, because you were talking about how all these countries have been doing this. You would admit that this has sort of been business as usual for the last 30 years. I mean, we have. So this is not because it's nothing new. This has been going on. So you're saying you would come in and stop that practice?
But it's never been as bad as it is now. We've never had $1.6 trillion in deficits.
It was as bad when George Bush left office. So he was the one who left this.
You're right.
Who left this?
Excuse me. I'm a Republican. George Bush, he gave us Obama. I'm not a big fan of George Bush. I'm not a fan of Obamacare.
Let's not talk about who gave who,
I know, Whoopi.
Because
I don't think I'm going to get Whoopi's vote.
If you did, let me just ask, if you did beat...
And she likes me. She even put me in her movies.
I was just going to say.
She put me in her movies, right? A long time ago. So how much should I charge? Nothing.
Like they say in the
It was a freebie.
If you did beat Obama, though... Would you say you're fired to him if you did beat him in the general election?
I don't want to trivialize it. We have this show that turned out to be such a success, or maybe that's why I'm sitting here, partially because people have gotten to know me.
They respect it.
What about this? You recently said about President Obama, I'm going to quote you, he grew up and nobody knew him. Nobody knows who he is until later in his life. The whole thing is very strange. What are you driving at there? Are you a birther, Donald?
Okay, let me just tell you. I was a really good student at the best school. I'm not like a smart guy, okay? They make these birthers into the worst idiots. Why doesn't he show his birth certificate? I think he probably...
have to?
Because I have to, and everybody else has to, Whoopi.
I'm sure
why
that
wouldn't he show...
his birth
Excuse me.
certificate.
Why... No, excuse me. I really believe there's a birth certificate. Why... Look, she's smiling. Why doesn't he show his birth certificate? And you know what? I wish he would, because I think it's a terrible pall that's hanging over him. He should show his birth certificate. The other thing, if you go back to my first grade, my kindergarten, people remember me. Nobody from those early years.
That's not true.
We have pictures of them. What are you talking about?
Okay, show me a picture.
There are kids in Hawaii. There are people in Hawaii. There are people that he's grown up.
I've seen 13,
no,
but
as
I
little
haven't seen
kids.
early pictures. But more importantly, why doesn't he? And you know what? I think he probably was, but the word probably,
Why should he have to defend himself against an accusation?
Because if you're going to be the president...
He's an American
because
citizen.
if you're going to be the president of the United States, it says very profoundly that you have to be born in this country.
But did any other president do that? Did George Bush
cannot be the president?
The question is, why would he want this hanging over him if it's
Probably
true?
he was.
No one has ever asked George Bush or said to George Bush, I'm sorry, is Hawaii not part of the United States?
George Bush. And I'm not saying I was a fan of George Bush.
No.
You know that better than anybody. But George Bush was born in this country. That's right.
Isn't Hawaii still part of the United States?
Am
I gone?
Do you question whether he was or not because he hasn't come forward with it?
I grew up in New York. Wall Street was a big part. I have seen fraud, and I have seen scandal, and I have seen things that a lot of people don't see. I've seen people take a $100 bill and make it $1 million bill.
We're going to have to pause. Get to the point.
Okay. The point is, I can't rely on some newspaper that they show that...
In order to become president of the United States, in order to
I
get
want
a
him to
driver's
show his
license,
birth certificate. I want him to show his birth certificate. There's something on that birth certificate that he doesn't like.
Oh, my God.
That's a terrible thing.
Whoopi, I'm telling you.
Whoopi,
I love you. I'm telling you.
I love you, too. I think that's the biggest pile of dog mess I've heard in ages.
But the question is, why not show it, right?
There's something on his birth certificate think that he doesn't want to show?
It's not because he's black.
Let him show. Has nothing to do with it.
Because I've never heard any white president ask to be shown the birth certificate. When you become a president of the United States of America, you know that he's American. I'm saying that's BS.
Are you saying that it just only lets people have doubt?
Do you want to talk at all about The Apprentice?
Doesn't matter. It's doing great. The ratings are through the roof. This is more interesting.
But we have to pause. We'll have more of this when we come back. And it may be setting a bad precedent, but we love him so. We've asked Donald Trump to stay for the second segment. Real fast, could you beat Obama?
I think if I run and win and get the nomination, I definitely think I could beat Obama. We're doing very, very poorly as a country.
Okay,
I think I could beat him.
Answer is yes, you do. Okay.
I want to change it up.
Or I wouldn't run.
Right. If you didn't think. All right. We're going to change it a little bit and go to Celebrity Apprentice. You got a crazy cast this season, Donald. I'm going to start with one of the people. You do. Okay, Gary Busey. Tell us about Gary Busey. He just seems a little woo.
Yeah, he is. I'll tell you, he's great. He's an amazing character, but he's a total genius, but he's nuts. So it's a combination.
A genius at what?
He comes up with thoughts and comes up with statements.
Everything is that he's got initials for everything.
Oh, it's amazing. He'll come up with a word, and then he'll have 15 words behind it. He really is. He's a brilliant guy, but he's got some big issues.
What about the emotion there? Because Meatloaf, I never knew there was so much emotion there.
Oh, my God.
What do you think
Meatloaf is a big surprise to me, because he's this tough, big, strong guy. He weighs 270 pounds. And every time I talk to him, he starts crying.
Do you get emotional like that?
You don't like that.
Because you, like Speaker John
I said I don't like that. I mean, I respect John Boehner, but I don't want a person that cries.
But you're very tender with Meatloaf, Don.
No, I think Meatloaf is fantastic. And I think John Boehner's fantastic. Last time I cried?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Which divorce was it?
Come on. You know what? There's nothing wrong with crying. I don't want to make like, I'm some big tough guy. There's nothing wrong with crying. I'm just not a big.
Ivanka's having a baby.
She's having a baby.
Maybe you'll cry then when that.
What about the women on the show?
Well,
because Dionne Warwick is getting
Dionne Warwick gets beat up so badly.
Dionne's a little crabby.
Dionne is tougher than people think, but she gets beat up. But I'll tell you who gets beat up more than anybody I've ever seen in the history of reality television. Your very close friend, Star Jones. She gets. Well, Nene is tough, and so is Star.
From the Atlanta Housewives.
So is Star. They go at each other. It's unbelievable. You know, they're both smart. They're both tough. But Nene is a very big woman, and physically, just a really big, powerful woman.
She's tall.
And she is very intimidating. You have to see what happens.
They was on the
Star,
same level, right?
Mark my word, Star. No, not in terms of size or intelligence.
No, in terms of that they can personality-wise.
Personality-wise, they're both great. I will tell you, it's the greatest thing I've ever. It makes Omarosa. Remember Omarosa?
Yes,
it makes Omarosa like a very kind, sweet woman.
This week,
For the next 4 weeks, actually. It goes on for a period of time, but this week, I love it.
You love it.
I do.
So we should watch it, but I really want to get to this the roast that was on Comedy Central.
Wow.
This roast, Donald was so raunchy, and you're not known for being raunchy. I mean, you had Snoop on stage, smoking. It was a lot of sexual humor. How in the world did you? It was for charity, but
how were the ratings?
It was the best ratings they ever got.
Okay,
it was the highest that they ever got.
I have to explain this. I did it for a very specific. I would never have done it in a million years because I've seen the roast. They're brutal, and this was more brutal than any of them. I did it because they paid me a lot of money, and I gave it all to charity. So I said to myself, "Am I going to sit there for an hour and be just horribly abused?" And then go home and hand a lot of money to different AIDS research and lots of great charities? Or am I going to sit home, watch television, and not give anything? And I decided to sit. And I was actually happy with it. I was happy with how well it did. It was their most successful show.
What do you think about the situation
Tell me, how did it feel like when they really attack you and they do a hair joke?
Your daughter was in the
hair
audience.
I'm used to. Excuse me, you attack my hair all the time. I got used to. You were worse than they were.
I stopped.
No, you were worse than they were.
Do you mind when people attack your hair?
No.
Is there any?
And you know what, Barbara? You know what? Look,
it's real.
It's really mine.
Is there anything? Go, baby. We've gone through a few things things together over the years.
She is very sexy, I want to tell you.
He knows how to get to me. Is there anything that you are insecure about?
That you want to say on TV?
I don't want to say. You know, I probably do. I don't want to give it up. Let somebody figure it out someday.
That's right.
Don't tell them. I hate,
don't give ammunition to the enemy.
The reason we don't have the big stars like they used to with Clark Gable and all, you know, Clark Gable didn't go on like your show and say, I'm an alcoholic, I'm this. Now they get on, they cry, they're alcoholics, they're this, they're drug addicts. And you say, they're just like everyone else. So if I do have an insecurity, I'm not talking.
Listen, Donald, so far, there's nothing you haven't been successful at. You're a great character. You're a great friend of ours. We don't know whether you should be president, but we do know that you will enjoy watching.
But you do admit I'd be a great president.
You have possibilities.
Barbara, don't blow it.
So, the Celebrity Apprentice. You want to say something else besides that?
No, I don't think you're a real Republican.
I'm a real Republican.
I think you're
The Apprentice is Sunday nights. Check your local listings. He's always wonderful to watch. We'll be right back.
This year, make sure to clean out the closet because you'll need room after you get the hottest trends of the season from Macy's style expert Clinton Kelly. Welcome back.
Thank you.
So the last time you were here, you were talking about the Macy's $1 Million Makeover Program. Is that still going on?
It's still going. It's still going strong. We got 19,000 entries. We chose 8. I gave them all makeovers. We did a little webisode on each one.
Nice.
They're living on the Macy's Facebook page. You can go on there and vote for your favorite to go to the next level, and you can even win a $500 gift card just for voting.
Great incentive there. Okay. So today, you brought the top 5 spring trends with you. So we're going to get started with the first, which is whites.
White.
Okay, do tell.
White is always sort of a big trend in the spring and summer because it's just crisp and it's clean. And whether that's a white trench or a white sheath or white denim, it's very easy to do in some way or another. And I wanted to show you how to make white very sophisticated and modern. So we're doing the white palette with the white denim and the white blouse, but we're mixing in neutrals, okay? That sort of makes it look a little expensive with a neutral jacket.
It's very Chanel.
Very rich look, right? That's because you're combining neutrals with the white, and then just to make it interesting, one little pop of color. For example, in the shoe. You don't have to do the colored shoe, but you could do a shoe you could do a bag that's got a great pop or a great necklace with a pop of color. But
so
neutrals really
shades
make it.
of white?
Exactly.
Not just white.
Right, white, yeah. Like in the past, you do like a white pant and a red shirt. This season it's more like white plus neutrals plus a little pop of color.
Okay, so the color's minimized. Great.
Yes.
And next, we're going to go on the opposite end of the spectrum. Brights are really big. We're seeing them everywhere. So if you're not in this neutral palette, you're going to be seeing some of this.
Right. This is not the season to be doing head to toe, gray or black. You know, blue is a really big color because of that Kate Middleton dress, the engagement dress. And if you don't want to do a solid, you can absolutely do a print of some kind.
You know what? Prints, people underestimate a print. They feel self-conscious in them. They actually camouflage pretty much anything going on, right?
That's a really good point. And it's always about silhouette more than it is about print.
This is fantastic.
So if you find a dress that really works for your silhouette, the brighter the better this season. So as you can see, this dress has lots of blue and green, and it's a nice option to pull out one color from a dress for a bag and then keep the shoe neutral. Vice versa, you could pull out a color and do it in the shoe and keep the bag neutral. That way you don't look like a clown.
It's not too matchy-matchy.
It's not about matchy-matchy anymore. It's about, pulling one color out and then having another one neutral grounded.
Okay, great. I love a neutral shoe, too. It's nice and lengthening.
And the platforms are back, I say.
Platforms are back. They're a lot easier to walk in. They give you that height.
That's right.
We see a ton of flowers here. Yes. And if we're going to go prints, floral is the way to go, you're saying, correct?
Floral is the way to go. By the way,
everybody can wear floral now.
I disagree. I think that everybody can do it floral one way or another.
Large floral prints, smaller
Yeah, this
florals.
season's not about those itsy-bitsy little house on the prairie florals, though. They're pretty little rosebud. No, it's about big, exploded florals. And I should mention, by the way, that the flowers here I brought with me from the Macy's the Macy's Flower Show. Just so you know, these are all real behind us.
But we're talking power flowers here, like big exploded prints, right?
And they're not your traditional flowers. The flowers on this dress don't even look like flowers. You know, they are sort of watercolor print. This is by Kinder, by the way. The jacket and the dress are by Kinder. A great thing to do with florals is to pair them with something a little bit more masculine, like a leather jacket, so that you got a very feminine floral look with a more masculine leather jacket.
Or jeans.
Exactly.
cute.
That way it doesn't look too girly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We don't want to float away into flower land. I love this look, though. I think that's really sharp.
It's fun. I love this, too. Once again, we did the neutral accessories so it's not too colorful, keeping it very modern.
Love that. Menswear is also back for spring, of course, with a little twist, correct?
Right. What about florals on a big boobs? It's a bit much.
It's more about the silhouette. As long as the cut is right for you, if you're doing like a V-neck to cut down on the boobs, then you can still do florals with a larger chest. Let's talk about menswear. Menswear means just taking things like jackets, trousers, vests, and then pairing them with feminine pieces as well.
I love those.
Aren't these trousers great? They're sort of a take on the men's flat front trousers, right? And these trousers, just so you know, are by Rachel Roy. And I paired them with a great blouse here by BCBG Generation. And the jacket is by a brand called Bar 3, which is exclusive to Macy's. It's fantastic. We're doing almost the same thing that I did before, which is a more sort of masculine jacket in the motocross leather, then a very floaty blouse, and then you take that menswear-inspired piece, which really anchors it and grounds the whole look.
So when they cut them off like that,
yes.
Do they come any longer? I don't like them quite as short. I like them to the ankle, like these.
That is a great question. You can absolutely participate in this trend with a full-length pant. You don't have to do a crop-length pant if you don't want to. In fact, crop lengths can be tricky on women who are shorter or have wider hips. They can sort of make your leg line look shorter, make you look shorter.
They look good to the ankle.
They do look good right around that ankle bone that sticks out on most people. Yeah.
I think that's a flattering length. So mix in some feminine with the masculine is that point.
-0. Can a regular person wear these pants?
You could do this if you, I think a regular person could wear these pants, quite frankly. Another great length.
Longer jacket.
A longer
or
jacket
play with
you
the
could do.
More.
Let me tell you something. If you get a pair of crop pants that you like and you're really concerned about the length, if you want to hit that ankle bone, that's a nice length. Or just below the widest part of the calf, I find works on most women because just below there the leg tapers, and that's a very flattering look. So you can always shows off your ankle.
And when in doubt, throw on a pair of heels.
Right, exactly.
When the spring comes, shorts are everywhere, of course. So why don't you tell us what you're seeing now and how we should wear them?
I mean, shorts are going to be one of the biggest trends for this spring and summer, and they're coming in every way imaginable. They're coming in high-waisted, they're coming in pleated, they're coming in super short lengths. I mean, this is kind of the look of the season. The short, it's a pleated short, which is hard to wear. See, Joy, give me the eye.
Clinton, short shorts are not for everyone.
Joy has
like, I don't see those in a 26 petite, okay?
Keep in mind, if you wouldn't wear a skirt this short, you should not be wearing shorts this short.
Okay, because sometimes people go shorter with their short length, but you should think about how you would wear a skirt and have the shorts that same length.
There is a question of age appropriateness. Like, you know, after you get past a certain age, wearing short shorts or a mini skirt for that matter looks like you're trying so hard to be young, and that is actually quite aging and unflattering. So find the shorts that work for you. If you have great legs, if you are young enough to wear a short, wear the short and do it. Enjoy it while you can, because it might not be that way forever.
Who's that bag from?
That is a good question on the bag. Whose bag is that? I don't know. I'll let you know after the show. You can go on the website. You go on the website to find that out.
We want to thank you for all of the helpful tips. We love this look. We're going to have more information on our website, too. Our thanks to Clinton Kelly. You can log on again to our website for all these cute looks and check out the Macy's annual flower show starting this Sunday in select cities. Members of our studio audience are going home with a $100 gift card from Macy's.
Wow, what a morning.
Yes.
My Lord, what a morning. Anyway, you know, we just have a good time. It's really good to be with you guys.
Very passionate. We have a sign outside that says make sparks. And some days we do.
Some days we do.
Who is Sparks anyway?
Listen, we want you to have a great day, everybody, and take a little time to enjoy whatever view you happen to see.
Yeah.